Hey, welcome back, gardeners. Today, we're visiting my friend Erin's private oasis. You might remember visiting her garden in 2019, and I am so happy to be back. Watching this garden grow and evolve over the years has been a real treat. Erin truly has a gift for color. She creates a cohesive, inviting feel using beautiful plants, artistic touches, and thoughtfully chosen accents. And it all comes together beautifully without feeling overdone. Even with the challenge of a steep slope on a small lot, she's transformed every corner into a space you'll want to linger. If you enjoy behind the scenes garden tours, remember to like and subscribe to my channel for more videos. Now, let's go walk and talk with Erin as we explore her beautiful garden. Hey, Erin, thank you so much for opening your garden today to share it with people out in the world because it is so fantastic. It needs to be seen.
Thank you so much. Happy to do it.
Erin and I have known each other for a long time. We were just talking about how long we've been kind of collaborating. And what do you remember about that?
Oh my gosh. I remember going to your garden years ago, seeing your name all over it when I was at school out at the design program at PCC, and then finding your little tiny nursery and asking if I could work for you, even if you didn't pay me.
And what is a girl to say? Me,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, now, just to be fair, I did pay you, right?
You did pay me.
Yeah.
You were a little concerned that, you were going to take me on and not have enough work. And I think once I started, we never stopped.
No, we didn't stop.
We kept running.
One thing that is very unique about your garden, or maybe not unique, but your solution to it is very unique, is, holy cow, you have got a pretty major change in grade here. And I know that that's been really important in terms of, how you've developed your garden over time. So
yeah, I think it creates a lot of interest. And comments I get when people see the garden is it feels so big because of these separations with the two elevations and so on. But it's also pretty challenging to figure out the best way to garden on these slopes. We did a little better in the front with the boulders that came in and leaving space so we could actually put some trees and things in between the stones. And the back gets a little tighter.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the back. I mean, both of them have have really challenging changes in grade.
Right.
But I'm struck by this memory of laying out or being here when you were laying out that front garden.
Yes.
And you were kind enough to share that experience with a group of students that I had with me at the time.
Right.
So I'll put photos of that up on the screen so people can kind of see your before.
Oh, great.
But
yeah, it's really filled in. And several of these plants were part of that original layout, like the Hinoki cypress. Yeah, there's a barberry over there. A bunch of these things, the grasses were all part of that first run. And then over time, some things got too large, had to be removed. Some just didn't like the conditions as well.
Yeah, you learn over time.
You do. You do. It's a trial and error for sure.
Yeah, there's the Hinokis back there. I think they're towards the back of the screen there. Those are fern spray gold.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And if we look at those from street level, and we will, you'll just see how big they are. And who would have thunk that a little 2 to 5 gallon plant that was 3 or 4 feet tall would end up being such a structural element in the front.
Feels like a forest now. Yeah. Honestly, the funny thing about those Hinokis is when I first planted them, they disappeared. Somebody stole them.
I know, it's like...
And then I finally went back to the wholesale nursery, and Independence got 3 more weeks later planted them, and then they took those ones too.
I can't believe what people do.
And the most appalling part about it was I thought, it's not the $30 per tree, it's the painstaking planning that I was doing to get those in the right spot.
Yeah, well, and this was heroic measures to actually even plant on
dig
this
around,
yes, front
crawling on the rocks. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I guess, hazards of street side gardening.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, that was pretty unusual. So.
Yeah, it is unusual. I mean, I also garden on street side and have a really visible garden.
Right.
And I would have to say that generally speaking, I get more appreciation than the negative stuff.
Right.
Was connecting with the neighborhood or providing a place to hang out out front, part of the motivation for the renovation that you did?
Yes, I'd say way back when in the beginning, I really wished for a house with a front porch, and I didn't get that.
Yeah, you got better than a front porch.
Yeah, so I guess I created a front patio instead. But the other piece of it was a lawn that sloped gradually down to the sidewalk. And the stone wall was maybe 4 feet tall. So my husband Brian was out here trying to mow this very, very steep lawn, tiny little walkways, things like that. So that was really it was a functional aspect for sure.
Yeah. One of the things that I find funny, and when I'm working out front, people go by and they either love it, they say really nice things, or they say things like, "Oh my gosh, what a lot of work."
Yes, I get a lot of that too.
But how come we don't get that when we're mowing lawn out front?
That's right.
It's like, what a lot of work to have a lawn on a slope is what they should be saying.
Yes, to be dangling off the side of the slope, holding a lawnmower with one hand, and no, it's not good.
Yeah. And how much more joy do we get out of this? Comparing the before and after of this spot it's really something. Who would have thought? Look at that. And just so gorgeous.
Yeah, I love the way, I guess I didn't anticipate such a northwest woodsy feel that these hinokis were going to create as they got that large. And I really like that. And it used to be, I used to consider it full blasty sun because it's south facing. And now a lot of the things that are back in there are pretty shaded.
Be the things that are behind the hinokis?
Yeah, in and under the other plants and behind the hinokis.
Yeah, these, I have photos of your garden because we've known each other for so long. I have photos of your garden through the seasons and at different phases. And it is, that's part of what I enjoy about gardening is the change over time and the adaptations that we have to make over time. So I was wondering, if you had any thoughts about that, because I'm looking at your garden and I know the plants that you had all along, and I know some of the major changes that you've made at different times.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to add a little more of the drought tolerant plants, like a few agaves and the Zachnera, just hoping to lower my maintenance and needs for watering quite so much. I think early on I was really trying to do this right. So I was really trying to get that evergreen structure in there before I started playing around with other plants.
I think that paid off though.
I do too. I'm happy with that.
Because your structural plants, you've got those columnar cypress.
Yep.
Tiny towers, right?
Right.
Yeah. Which good luck finding those nowadays. They don't seem to be on the market anymore, but there are very similar ones. Like Juniperus compressa, I think, is quite similar to that. The fern spray gold is still out there and available.
Yeah, it is. And I think it says it gets about 6 feet tall.
Yeah, that's what they say.
4 feet wide or something.
What do we think of tags? It's like, well, they're kind of guidelines. So what I'm focusing on now is that windmill palm that you have, the Trachycarpus fortunii, right?
Right.
I think it would be interesting to see, and
Yeah.
maybe I can put on screen when it was a baby.
It was probably 5 feet tall or so. I would say it starts kind of slow. You know, I wouldn't go even, but even foot a year. But
yeah,
I think it kicked into gear after a while, and maybe has even done more than that.
Yeah.
I have to hire somebody now to clean it out because of the stairs and the slope.
I've always admired this Clematis that is very floriferous, very happy, and growing right up that trunk.
Yeah.
Do you remember the name of that one? I've asked you about it before.
I know, and I think you helped me figure out what it was.
I'll put the name on the screen.
Yeah, I don't.
But
I don't know.
There's lots of different Clematis that you could do that with.
But,
but you would want to choose one that's pretty darn vigorous.
Yeah, that blooms for a really long time, and it just goes and goes and goes.
I don't think I can think of anybody that does containers and color stories like you. I have always admired the way that you can set a scene, create color stories, and your containers are always just like amazing. And your installation of art. We're going to take a closer look at this one over here, but this is a new installation this year. I want to make sure we talk a lot about your container collection, your use of art, and like I said, it's just something that I just adore about your garden, and it leaves me just mesmerized. And yeah, so I don't know, people might want to know, where do you get your containers?
Right. I have been collecting these containers over the years.
Yeah.
There was, for a brief time, someone who used to bring in cargo truckloads.
Here in Portland, or are you talking about pottery?
Here in Portland.
I
from Vietnam. And he would rent a lot out on 82nd and just sell everything he had at a very reasonable price.
About that.
So some of them are that. Yes, we used to, with your nursery, we would go up and buy at Pottery, which is
those
great.
Those were the days, weren't they?
They were. Like
the beauty of wholesale purchasing.
Yeah, that big one in the corner with the hydrangea in it. That was definitely an investment pot for me early on.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, these large ones, I would not have nearly as many in my garden had I not had access to, some good pricing at the right time.
Right. Even at wholesale, it felt a little.
Oh yeah. It's exponential. The pricing of containers is, the small ones. That's how they get you hooked.
Yeah.
They think, you know, this container, that's not going to break the bank.
Yeah.
Unless it's something artful and custom and cute.
Right.
But generally speaking, the smaller containers are pretty palatable in terms of a price point. The middle containers, you have to start thinking a little bit more.
Yep.
And the big containers, that's where they get you.
But I think for impact, I would rather buy one large, beautiful container than 10 small ones.
Yeah, I think.
And
what are your reasons for that? Because I agree.
Well, I think there's several reasons. I mean, for one, I think that the impact as a focal point, as compared to, it's something solid. It anchors a space. The large containers are just beautiful. And I think a lot of small things can feel chaotic if it's not done right. It can almost feel kind of messy. It's your eye doesn't know where to land.
Except for when you do the small containers. I mean, how do you pull off this? This does not feel messy to me. I mean, this is expert level. So what are you doing that makes that not in your mind feel chaotic?
Right. So that was inspired by those little baby heads. And
you always have a source of inspiration.
Yeah, and I think that it's equal parts fun and equal parts possibly weird and creepy. But I saw those also at the Seattle Garden Show. Their Ravenna Gardens was where they came
that was
from.
A great store. It is a great store.
Yeah,
but
up in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought them not really knowing what I was going to do with them. And then once I got home with them, they were a little weird.
Ah, we?
Yeah, and then I decided the only way they were going to work is if they were all somehow grouped together, and maybe it looked a little haphazard and so on. So that's how that came together.
Yeah. And also, you've got a consistent color across the containers.
Yeah,
and they're just the plants are kind of a similar genre, genus. And
right. Tried to tie them all together, and then I think putting them in that plant stand.
Yeah, that's cool.
Corrals everything, cool. And yeah.
Yeah, everywhere I look, you've just got art installations, small little containers. You're just playing with color. You're constantly knitting things together, aren't you? I mean,
yeah, I guess so. I mean, I do tend to always look for that theme of that color thread.
Yeah, I often think of your garden as, having a lot of, I don't even know if it's a right way to say it, but in my mind, I have painted it as you use sunset tones.
Right.
And I don't know if that resonates with you, but that's how I've always thought about it.
I think I'm still very much in the oranges and rusty oranges, but maybe a little less of some of those peachy tones that I was
maybe
doing before.
A little bit more coral?
Yeah, perhaps.
We'll see in the back.
It's a mix. It's a mix.
But is color a primary consideration for you, or what's your secret sauce? I mean, the colors knit together, sure, but the foliage textures and different leaf shapes.
I try to think through all of that, and I find that I'm a little bit fickle about my style. It can change pretty rapidly, and I am right now kind of riding this line between loving the big, voluptuous, flowery containers, the thriller, filler, and spiller idea, but I also really like just a simple one pot, one plant too. Yeah. And so I think what I'm doing right now is kind of combining that a little bit, which you can see.
I think there's a spot for like both.
Yeah.
It's like, I have a blog post. I haven't thought about it for a while or posted it in a while, but it's about this idea of container collections. Here, while I'm looking at it, why don't you tell me a little bit about what you did over there?
Yeah, so that area is new this spring. I did have containers with raspberries planted in them,
which are nice.
Yeah,
yummy.
The berries were great, and I had a plan. I was going to put some blueberries in there too. And I was at the Seattle Garden Show this year, and I saw they showed those metal pieces throughout the display gardens and so forth. Gosh. And they're made by a woman that I have some other pieces from in the back.
Nice. Maybe we can put her, is she still making art up there? Maybe we can put her name on the screen.
Yes, she is. She is based out of Port Townsend. And I have her card. I'm going to need to look up her business name real quick.
We can follow up on that.
Yeah. Anyway, plans changed. Decided I didn't have room for the blueberries and the raspberries and all the things. I was going to use the metal art to kind of just make it a little more interesting. But I decided to go gravel garden, dry garden instead. And I think the art still adds to that and looks great.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So there's just so much to see here. This video is going to end up being like 3 hours long and 3 parts or something like that. Right. But I don't think people are going to complain. So I'm actually not on Erin's property anymore. So Erin, and I was drawn here because of the interplay with those cannas, gorgeous cannas, with her art installation over here.
Right.
But this isn't even her garden. So, but Erin, you had a hand in this, didn't you?
Correct. I designed this garden for my neighbors. It was lawn with a very narrow front planting bed. And they were looking to create something that was low maintenance. They didn't want to have to maintain a lawn anymore. The cannas, I think, 5-6 years ago, we put in a 1-gallon canna in each of these containers.
But those containers, they're not containers per se. They
planters.
Are containers with a capital
planters.
C, capital O, N.
Yeah.
They're probably, if I'm eyeballing them, I would say they're about 3 feet by 5 feet.
Yeah.
So those were probably fabric. Anytime I show my steel work at home, I inevitably get questions of, where did you buy that steel work?
Right.
We didn't buy it.
No.
Right?
This was all built on site too.
Yeah. So you worked with a contractor, came up with the design, and had the steel fabricated on site per your specifications.
Correct.
Yeah. As exotic and vibrant and showy as some parts of your garden are, I think it's also very interesting and effective that you have some areas that are a little quieter. I can't remember your inspiration, but I know you're going to remember. But I really remember you putting this in.
I believe I started going for more structure. So it's more challenging than I realized to mix sort of an organic tapestry of colors and textures with some more formal areas.
But you don't make it look hard.
Anyway, that's what I was going for. So these are kind of what you would call my foundation plantings right in front of my house. And I just thought it was it's a little bit whimsical, but it's also super structural.
Yeah.
And
have they been hard to keep in shape?
No,
in terms of their size and keep your vision alive? They're
quite easy. I'm not shearing them as tight as I could because I'd actually like them to get a little bit bigger. So I can get away with shearing them once a year, and I have a little small handheld set of pruners that does it pretty quickly.
We're moving into your side yard, and while I wouldn't call it calm, I would call it it's a little different than the front in terms of the repetition of plant material, especially along the house.
Right.
You've got like that. What are you using here?
Those are sky pencil. I like sky pencil.
Yeah, those look pretty good for sky pencil. It can be a challenging one, right?
I have lost some over time and tried to replace them. This one on the end is struggling a little bit.
What do you think is going on with that? Is it the heat? Do they get like a mite?
I actually had sent some material off for testing at one point, and the test results came back environmental conditions.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not the best place to grow these plants right up against the house and so on. Yeah. But they didn't find bugs or anything like that at that time. So then I got on just watering like crazy and adding some fertilizer, and that seemed to help.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, some of them have been struggling, and like when I have a smaller one that was from having to replace them and so on.
I struggle with consistently fertilizing.
Yeah.
Do you?
I don't do. I usually use some kind of organic fertilizer when I'm planting, and that's about it. So that could have something to do with it.
Yeah. Well, your soil here, would you say does it have a high clay content?
Yeah, it's pretty clay. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a hard time growing things that really want that fast drainage, which I know is quite different from where you live, just 2 or 3 miles away.
Yeah, yes, I know. So we were at a different garden, which if you want to continue seeing garden tours, make sure you like and subscribe and follow this channel because we go to some pretty awesome gardens. But last week we were at Joanne's garden, and she also gardens in clay, and we were talking about the fact that clay soils, we often think about the downsides and the difficulties, but they're actually very nutrient rich,
right,
and moisture retentive.
Yeah, You just have to be able to dig a hole.
Yeah, so maybe there's different seasons that are easier to plant than others.
But and I've been amending this for years, and I've even used something called a soil conditioner that I've bought by the bale, and I still can't grow Daphne. You know, it's one of the plants that I've tried so many in my yard, and they just slowly die off.
I can't help but notice that part of this garden looks like it might be on your neighbors. This is your side, right?
Right.
And this is theirs.
That's right.
So how did that come about? You know, I do the same thing with my neighbors. So I'm curious to hear your story.
Well, it's pretty interesting from a practicality standpoint. On her side over here was lawn, and when she came, to come over and take care of this little strip, dumps her into my front yard. There's no way down from here except for her back gate. So over the years, she kept offering that I could garden on her side, and that my living room and dining room look out on it, and it just makes perfect sense.
So it was her idea.
Yeah, it was her idea. And I was trying to get a handle on my entire yard and making jokes about how, sure, whenever I'm done with all my other gardening, I'll be happy to take it on. But I finally did. And it allowed me to swing the path out a little wider from my house and work on the whole space instead of just doing something really tiny and narrow up one side.
It's really become a really important part of your garden.
Yeah, it's nice.
And I would say that we probably have just 10 feet between those two houses, if I were to guess, because the typical property setback is 5 feet. So if you're both like that, so look at what you can do in 10 feet, man. Everywhere is a potential place for creating a beautiful garden in our world, isn't it, Erin?
Right, definitely.
And you are a master at that. Ooh, I hear water. I see a gorgeous gate.
Thank you.
I feel an invitation to explore
the back,
a new part of your garden. Oh my, I have been here before. I have, but every time I come into your garden, it just blows me away. You're such a talent.
Thank you so much, Darcy. I feel like I learned so much working with you. I loved gardening before, but hadn't really thought so much about all these concepts that you've been teaching over the years of the shapes and forms and textures and colors.
So let's see, you've got slope back here as well,
right?
Which gave an opportunity for
the waterfall.
Been here for a while, right?
Yeah, it was something we did very early on. The backyard had some brick terraces originally that were falling down when we bought the house, so we had to do something, and we thought it was just set up for a little water feature like this, so that was what we had done quite early on.
Nice.
And the Gunnera is new. That's this year.
That is pretty fun.
Yeah.
So you've got it in a container.
Yep.
Sitting in the water, surrounded by some pretty gorgeous
little floats.
Art floats. So that's a nice scene. This is another really fun and unusual thing that you have going on.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about this the other day that, let's see, you're growing this in a container because this is a water plant. What are you doing there?
So I tried to I layered a potting soil bag in the bottom before I planted that, hoping to stop the water from running out. So it
still let it release some.
Yeah. So it does. I mean, when I water it, I can fill that pot and see the water come up to the surface. And then, it slowly drains out. And the plant's been in there for years, again, not fertilized. Like, I don't know what to do with those guys.
Well, don't you think that the bugs that go down here, and it's a carnivorous plant, right?
Yeah.
So I think that is how it fertilizes itself.
Right. I've heard other people talk about a special fertilizer for these, and so I don't know if it's necessary.
That's for sure.
I see that fly on there right now.
Oh, that's fun. Get in there, mister.
But yeah, by the end of the summer, those tubes are full of flies.
Oh,
so they
that's
really
crazy.
do. I know.
It's crazy.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, I used to have one of those, and I don't currently have one. I think I need to.
Yeah, I think
get it again.
I saw how you were growing it just in a bowl that didn't drain, and realized, boy, these guys are easy.
This hedge is really, I like that. That's like a, what were you trying to do? A green wall?
Yeah.
Kind of a place for quiet?
Right. It's a great, that's actually been really strong too. It's Taxus Standishii.
That's what I thought, yeah. It's got the, Standishii is very slow growing.
Yep.
And its new growth is yellow.
Right.
Yeah, so that's it's a great plant. And these are happy, happy, happy.
Yeah.
More fantastic containers. And you know, one of the things that I really notice about your garden is that you have these places for people. You know, it's like a garden made for being in. Like, look at that wonderful space. Is that?
Yeah, we love sitting out here. It's usually shady in the evenings, but even in the morning to pop out and have a cup of coffee. And the interesting thing about the waterfall is the little golden finches end up bathing in there constantly.
Like a bird bath.
Yeah, so they kind of land on that weeping Cypress and use that as their little diving board, and then jump in and do their baths. So yeah, I grabbed those 2 chairs this season because we were pulling chairs over all the time to sit in that spot. Yeah. So.
And again, on point in terms of color scheme.
Right? Has to be. Has to be.
It looks like you have an excellent connection between your house and able to come out of the house from the kitchen, I presume.
Right.
And what a connection. What a connection. Has it always been that way, or?
Well, after our first iteration was just a stone wall.
Right. I wonder, I'm going to see if I can dig up a picture of
that. Went all the way across, kind of, I guess, in line with where it is right now. And then we found that our patio was just too narrow. We didn't have room for a dining table that was very comfortable.
You guys like to have, I mean, you do a lot of entertaining and gathering of friends here, right?
Yeah, so. My husband loves to barbecue, and we have people over for dinner a lot in the summer, and we do really enjoy that. So we pushed back and did the concrete wall, which gave us more space, and I actually really like the effect of that concrete too. It's, again, you know, my yard is this experiment in natural versus structural, or, you know, kind of that transitional style. So I like the contemporary aspect of the concrete wall.
Yeah, those slab steps are pretty amazing, and just such a nice gentle curve that leads up to the top. But I also like that this just the way that you set it back, which is part of what you did in your remodel, is you provided a little bit more of a setback and closed space. You enlarged it to create an area to be surrounded by the garden, is what it feels like to me.
Yeah. And as things change over time, at one point I wanted the upper level to feel very separate from the lower level, and I wondered if that would make it interesting, like this secret garden, you know. And then when we redid and did the concrete wall, then I had this feeling like, no, I want this to flow together a little more. So I am holding off from planting big shrubs right at the top of the wall.
Right. So it's conscious. I mean, we evolve as gardeners, don't we? It's like what you knew at one point, you may change your mind. And, it's kind of all part of the process, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what keeps it maybe interesting.
Yeah, and I think when you're designing for yourself, you know how you want to use it. You know, these changes
Yes.
were made
Yes.
several years after living here and
Yes.
using the space and having a better understanding.
Knowing what things you were trying to solve, creating a place for the barbecue, creating a more enlarged dining space. And I think like even some real practical things, like your first version didn't have
a
railing, and you know, we're not spring chickens anymore.
That's
so
right.
It gets more and more important to have these important pieces of infrastructure included in our gardens.
Yeah, I remember my husband loved the idea of, with the old rock wall, that the steps were just hidden into the wall, and you know, you kind of had to know where you were going to get up here, and that lasts, you know, about 2 weeks, and you see your friends being afraid to come back down. And
right.
So yeah, that change was a good one.
All right. All right, so we're up in the far back corner of the garden, and we're in a spot where we can take it all in, and there is much to see. I'm going to just do a slow pan so you can kind of get a sense of. I'm sitting on a comfy couch in the very far back corner of the garden, and I'm taking it all in. Oh, there's another palm in the back here, isn't there? Yes. Which has grown a lot over time. Little fire pit.
Yep.
You guys open that up on some chilly evenings, I bet.
We do.
Oh, bananas. Do those, have you had those bananas for a while?
They have been in for years. Yes.
Do you have to do anything special?
What I have to do is cut out the pups, because they really would love to be a grove of bananas. And I at times I've had a little bit more, not this past winter, but the year before was hard on them.
But this last winter was super mild.
This last winter was great. Yeah.
Well, great on the for gardeners. Yes. Maybe not enough of the other stuff, but hey,
right.
You know, we have these conflicting desires.
Yeah. Good for the plants.
Good for the plants. I love your nod to the kitchen garden.
Right. It's not a lot, but it's stuff that makes us happy.
I would say you grow what I have really changed my tune over the years in terms of edibles in the garden. It's like we need to grow what we know we want to eat. And what makes sense. And so, you know, tomatoes, and put a little basil in there, which I actually see that you've got that.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes you may not eat artichokes, but
just for fun.
Just for fun. They look, and also look at who everybody loves them, right?
Look who loves them.
Everybody loves them.
Yep. Yeah, we definitely like having some fresh tomatoes off the vine,
and some different herbs down there.
Yeah, the herbs are nice to be able to just come out and grab. This is a sweet sitting area. Again, love the color play, love the just love the way that you use and you connect your accessories, your textiles, if you will. They're just so thoughtfully positioned and thoughtfully selected. So bravo. Thank you. There's 3 rows Cinco de Mayo behind those chairs there, and looks like they're starting to bud again. Yeah, they're like this color, aren't they? Yeah, they really speak to this. You're right. Yeah, kind of that brick color. Yeah. Really pretty when they're blooming, and with the purple salvia behind them too. Perfect. Perfect. So I'm on the other far corner now. So everywhere you look in this garden, you've created a place for people so that you can kind of enjoy all your different vantage points, right? Yeah. So we're up in the high level. These are mostly, like this area behind is for just a couple of people. I think it's sometimes nice to have a variety of areas, right? In terms of different group sizes. Yeah. We don't often sit in this corner, but I notice when we'll have a party back here, there's always a couple people that end up in this corner.
Right, right. Sit around and gossip a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you're serving food, it's a nice place to sit down and
oh, I suppose there's
have a table and all that good
right,
stuff.
Right.
This is a fun snapdragon I got this year. I usually don't grow many annuals. It's called Copper Queen.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty. Beautiful color story.
Isn't that pretty?
I love how it speaks to, well, actually, it speaks to everything here because you are a master. Yes. So we've got the snapdragon with the copper, what'd you call it? Copper Queen?
Copper Queen.
Copper Queen. Notice the hints of purple that are accentuated by the purple. Notice the coral tones that are accentuated by the adjacent reddish coral tones. Holy cow. And even more subtle than that is one of the things that I like about Pieris Little Heath is that we're able to pull out even subtle coloration.
Right.
And so I bet you were thinking about that when you made some of this pairing.
Yeah, I also like it for its size, to be able to, still, again, evergreen, a little bit of structure, but then to be able to play with the colors in it and plant around it. Yeah. Now, a lot of Pieris would be way too big for back here.
And I find my little heath takes to pruning pretty.
They do.
Pretty amenably.
Yep. About 2 years ago, I guess, we did the great tree swap from the dogwood that was here close to the pergola. It was sickly with a lot of the stuff that dogwoods get, and I was having it treated by a tree company. And
was it like a Florida?
Florida.
Oh, yeah, those are.
Yeah.
If you're going to do dogwoods,
don't do that.
We always recommend people do the Cousis or something.
Yep.
Or something that's resistant to some of that. I think it's anthracnose.
Yeah, right. So this couple years ago, put in this smaller Stewardia, and I've just finally realized that I need to stop wrestling things to try and get them up all the stairs and get them in the ground up here.
Oh, meaning you put it in as a smaller tree than you would have.
So we could manage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So that'll be fabulous when it starts putting some growth on, and we get a little bit of a canopy going up here.
Yeah. Makes me kind of think about something that I know we've talked about a fair amount in this, and I talk about it with my my readers and on the channel here, is this idea of forever versus for now. Some plants, and I think you know what I mean by that, but I think it's best illustrated if we look at an example like this and say, and I'm going to ask you a question, it's a leading question, but as you develop this part of the garden over the years, what are you thinking about in terms of your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan?
I guess what I'm...
Like, for instance, do you envision that this tree is going to be more important in this garden bed in 10 years time?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Like
that Persicaria, is it going to be there in 10 years?
Right, and it might not be.
Might not be.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you had to choose between the two.
Oh yeah, the tree definitely. The Nandina back there, that's just a space filler.
Yeah. And it's a relatively easy to find, inexpensive plant that is serving a fantastic function.
Right. But
we don't feel bad if we have to take it out. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So. Exactly. I had a beautiful conifer in there. It was a Chemocypress obtusa sunny swirls.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really liked it, but it just got too big for the space, so then it was encroaching on the patio.
Yep.
But when I had the dogwood, that was an impulse thing. Somebody was digging it up, and
you were a younger gardener, less experienced,
and didn't think it through. It's like, of course we'll take that dogwood.
Yeah, it's free.
But having the canopy, the branching that kind of came out over the stone patio,
the dogwood had that branch.
Yeah,
so you're missing that now.
Yeah, I really liked that. I thought that was really pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I am a Stewardia lover.
Yeah.
And I love mine, and it's worth the wait.
Yeah.
It really is worth the wait.
I think so.
But you can have fun in the meantime in this corner, and just it's freeing to kind of know who your long-term winners are, and to know that you can create any number of scenes in here, a series of scenes, and that's just kind of your guiding principle in terms of your long-term plan.
Right.
I remember a couple years ago, a real central focal plant in this back garden was this arbutus. Is it Marina?
Marina, yes.
Yeah. So we have some weather events now and again here, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. What happened?
Yeah,
what happened, and what's your plan?
Yeah, 2 years ago, killed my arbutus, and it was quite large, bigger than the 9-bark.
Yeah.
But
it went right between those Chamaecyparis green arrow.
It did,
right?
Yeah. It filled that space really nicely, and it's because it's an evergreen, created that whole row of privacy across the back.
Right.
And I loved it, and it may be silly to do it again after losing it. I probably had it 10 years.
Yeah.
So
that was a pretty major event that took it out.
Yeah, it was. A lot of plants that have lived, things like Sarcococa and
I know that was crazy, like Sarcococa.
Yeah,
really?
And Mahonias, and
lots of soft caress. Boy, mine came back though.
Mine did too. Mine did too.
But I know friends that theirs didn't come back, or they didn't wait.
Right. So. Anyway, so I'm going to give it another try. That was the best and biggest I could find.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was from the base, but no.
No, I've seen it started to sprout at the base, but I think it was too shady in that location, and so it didn't. It ended up dying off.
Yeah, there's one that I'm watching on my neighborhood walks.
Oh yeah,
and it's pushing from the base.
Yeah, that's right.
But it occurs to me that this is. Because what do we love about the Arbutus marina is
it's
smooth bark,
beautiful, rusty tones. Yeah.
So the art installation is a stand-in.
Stand-in, exactly. That's what I find, that art it becomes real handy.
Yeah.
When you have some holes you want to fill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find that you move your art around sometimes? In the garden, or do you usually find a spot and that's where it lives?
Yeah, some of it just stays where it is, but sometimes I think that it'll enhance a spot or fill a hole, and so I'll move it around.
Yeah, you've just got such a collection. You've just over the years, I imagine.
Yeah.
Everywhere I look, there's artful elements, and you just are so good at not overdoing it, because art is tricky, isn't it?
Right, I think so too. I definitely try to keep it, at least when it's all in one eye shot, I try to keep it similar in some way, and sort of subtle, I guess. Yeah. Like I think it's
like what, like keep them similar, like a similar color theme.
Yeah, so
texture.
I think everything I have right in this view back here has some rusted metal to it. And so that's,
if we're looking at the same thing, like the tones of the pillow are echoed in the pedestal table,
right,
and the containers are rust,
right,
which are echoed in the fabric.
Yep. And
that
then
speak to the curlicues in the back,
metal, yep,
which are artful, but actually a certain subtlety too, right?
Right.
They're all one color. They're not, lots of
not
different colors.
bright.
Mm-hmm. So it really is just masterful. And I think a lot of times you've used like fabric in a really creative way to kind of really pull it all together.
Yeah.
What comes first, the fabric or the or is it?
Yeah, so I think it's that forever versus for now, like you were talking about with the plants, the pots and the art, they're somewhat forever. The fabric comes and goes.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of throw pillows, right?
Right.
Whether it's inside or outside.
So you can play up different
Keep your
colors.
Couch simple.
Yeah,
and play with your accessories, like your rug or your area rug or pillows can do that.
Right. One thing I found so interesting is if you look at the pattern on these pillows and you look at this piece of glass art that I must have bought 15 or more years ago up in Bainbridge Island, they are almost the exact same thing. And I had no idea, but that
it's another happy accident or very purposeful.
Exactly.
See, I've got a lot of glare on that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's that part where you don't want to be too matchy with things, but you want them to sort of speak to each other in some way.
And it's hard to explain, but you know it when you see it, right? I mean, because we've walked into gardens before where, you know, it's like it's a beautiful garden, it's making people happy, but somehow the art is a distraction versus additive,
right?
You know,
right.
And I don't feel that way at all with yours. They're always very purposeful and additive. And
well, you've shopped with me before too, and I don't impulse buy.
No, you do not.
I mean, I'll bring pictures of something when I'm shopping, and I am very purposeful about how I do it.
And it pays off.
Thank you. It's a little maniacal, but thanks.
And are we done yet?
I know. How many times do we have to go back and look again?
Yeah. But, you know, when you look at the result, it's like, holy cow, it definitely pays off, because that is one of the things that I come back to time and time again in your garden, is how front to back it knits together. It is varied yet cohesive, textural and vivid and colorful and quiet. So it's this give and take, and a yin and a yang, and I think it's the balance between those two that makes for memorable gardens, and you have nailed that.
Thank you so much.
One area that I think you've been developing this year that I'm really curious to go take a closer look at is this upper level. I know the deck isn't new or anything like that, but the way that you're using it is a little new this year, isn't it?
Definitely. That's been kind of the place where the old furniture goes to sit and things like that.
Previously.
Yeah, previously. And this year I was actually did some planning around what kind of furniture I wanted up there, and containers and plantings, and put it together in a way that we're really enjoying now.
And who do we have here?
Well, this is Weber, the charcoal lab.
Hello, sweet pea.
And of course, going with the color scheme, so the gray dog on the gray couch.
Yeah. All right. So we are up above your garden now on this little room, little deck, on the second floor, that has a fantastic view of the garden and super comfy. I want to have a glass of wine here. I want to unwind, hang out with my dog.
That's right,
buddy. on a couch, take a nap on that couch.
Yes.
So what was your inspiration on this, and what do you think? I see your plantings are kind of in process,
right?
Still, so this is a new part of your garden.
Yep.
So talk to me a little bit about your process and what you're thinking about.
Yeah, well, with the furniture, for one thing, my husband loves sleeping outside. It reminds him of when he was a little kid. He'll sleep in the pergola sometimes, but I bought this couch thinking, and it's proven to be true already, it's a perfect size for someone to sleep on. So he enjoys that on a hot evening. The plantings, I chose these Hesperaloe for these narrow containers.
Let me get over there and look at the Hesperaloe.
Sure.
Yes, I love this plant.
Yeah, Hesperaloe stoplights. And
brake light or stoplight?
Is it Brakelights?
I don't know. One of the two, but it's that.
Maybe it's Brakelights.
Yeah.
But just thinking that they will be low water use, not a lot of maintenance. I think I would clean them out maybe every now and then. We'll have some color up here.
Well, and also imagine laying on that couch, relaxing, and then basically the hummers are going to come and talk to you. This is better than a hummingbird feeder.
I agree.
Just right here.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think those will be nice, and actually provide a little privacy when they fill in too.
And I like the simplicity of it, just one plant. It's almost that one plant, one pot kind of idea, creating a little hedge, and you know, choosing a, you know, not every plant would work. I mean, you've chosen you've made a thoughtful selection,
right?
And
I don't want to be hauling up a bunch of tools and buckets and pruning and doing things like that. I wanted to keep it real clean and simple.
Yep, I think that'll be a really good choice. Really good. I'll be anxious to see that.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
And then over
here, I actually have these plants swapped because they're just staged in here right now. But the small tree is the Catalina ironwood.
Yes, we grew that in a container with a client for many years.
And I've been looking for it. That was the biggest one I've been able to find. But ultimately, that'll be the anchor in the corner.
Yeah, and tell me about that tree. Doesn't it have like a really
rusty, peely bark? Yeah. And it's evergreen as well.
Perhaps the bark is the color of that pot?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, ultimately the phormium will go in the blue pot, the tree will go in the big anchor pot, and then I just got a juniper, which I also will be very low maintenance. I like the way it's going to be very horizontal, and so
you drape over the side.
Side. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All should be low water use. Yep. Low maintenance.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And really, it's form and shape, color, and form, but there's not a flower in the mix. Sight,
right?
And who misses it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's kind of a nice, calm, serene effect.
Yep. Yeah. A place that you want to relax. Right. And if you want excitement, all you have to do
is look over there.
It's like look over there and say, "Holy cow, what is happening?" What a great vantage point for your garden.
Yeah, thank you.
What a really wonderful addition to your space.
Yes. Yeah.
Everywhere I look, I have something else I want to ask you about, but you know, we only have so much time.
That's right.
But I really appreciate your spending so much time with us and walking us through some of your thinking.
Yeah.
Your garden is an inspiration to so many. I had the pleasure of being here during a recent garden tour and hearing people's reaction to your garden, and you know, very enthusiastic and well deserved.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun to hear how other people see it. You know, when you're in the space all the time and working on it all the time, it's great to get that feedback.